In this video, we're going to use double number lines to convert between metric units. Complete the missing values in the triple number line and find the conversions below. So notice we have three number lines and they're labeled as meters, centimeters, and millimeters. And here's some unit conversion. You can get these from the metric table. 1 meter is 100 centimeters and 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. So we're going to use this information to fill in the double number lines and then answer these questions. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. So I could fill that in on the centimeter line. And now I know 2 times that will be 200. 3 meters is 300 centimeters. So each one is 100 times more centimeters than there are meters for an equivalent amount. Okay, and this is why the metric system is so simple and useful. Now let's go from centimeters to millimeters. Well, 1 centimeter is 10 millimeters, so 100 centimeters would be 10 times as large, or 1,000 millimeters. And continuing to multiply the centimeter values by 10, we have 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, and 8,000. Okay, now let's answer these questions. 3 meters equals how many centimeters? Well, here's 3 meters, and that corresponds to 300 centimeters. 5 centimeters equals how many meters? Well, 5 centimeters isn't on here, but we can approximate it. It's probably about here. And we know to get from centimeters to meters, we multiplied by 10. So we have 5 centimeters equals 50 millimeters. And finally, we're going to compare 7 meters in millimeters. That's 7,000 millimeters. So there's 1,000 times more millimeters than there are meters. And notice we can see that unit conversion here. 1 meter equals 1,000 millimeters. Okay. So notice how these are all working as powers of 10. We're multiplying by 10 to get the number of the smaller units. So now let's look at the next one. Okay. Here we don't have meters, we have liters. So meters is a measure of length, liters is a measure of volume or capacity. And also notice the direction is the other way in terms of the size. So milliliters are smaller than centiliters, which are smaller than liters. In the last example, we had them going in the other direction. So we have here, we have to figure out some conversions. We know that 1 liter is 100 centiliters. That means 1 centiliter would be 1/100th of a liter. Okay. Now, if 1 centiliter is 10 milliliters, then 1 milliliter is 1/10 the size of a centiliter. So now we can use these ideas to fill in these two double number lines. So we have 1 milliliter. To write that as a centiliter, it would be 1/10 the size of 1. So 1/10. And we're going to write this as a decimal. This is 0.1 is 1/10. Now we have 2/10 would be 2 milliliters. It's hard to say that. 3 milliliters is 3/10 of a centiliter. Now we have 4/10, and we're just going to continue with this pattern. So notice when we go from milliliters to centiliters, so a smaller unit to a bigger unit, we move the decimal place a unit to the left since they differ by a factor of 10. Now let's go from centiliters to liters. They differ by a factor of 100, so we're going to have to move the decimal place 2 places to divide by 100 to get the corresponding liter. So we'd have 0.001. Liters is equivalent to 0.1 centiliters. And notice I divided 0.1 by 100, and that moves the decimal 2 places to the left. Now we can continue this pattern. 0.002, and each one is 1/100th of a centiliter. 0.007 and 0.008. Okay. So now let's use this information to fill in these values. 3 milliliters, well there's that. How many centiliters is it? It is 0.3 centiliters. If we have 0.4 centiliters, how do we write that as a liter? Well, here's 0.4 centiliters. It would be 0.004 liters. And finally, 7 milliliters. How many liters is that? Well, that corresponds to 0.007. Okay? So when we looked at these examples, to go from smaller units in the metric system to larger units, you're going to divide by a power of 10, which is equivalent to moving the decimal some amount of spaces to the left, depending on the relationships between the prefixes.